Hello, I'm David.
Hello, I'm Julie.
So now we're going to do a review of Wonder Woman, Challenge of the Amazons, which is ages 10 and up, 2 to 5 players, in 45 to 60 minutes. Now, that's pretty accurate, the amount of time that it takes. So this is a cooperative game, and you have 3 different enemies that you will face, that you can choose from. So the first scenario that we did on camera was Ares, and we won for the first time after playing 4 times. Now we have faced Cheetah, so we won that scenario, and we haven't played Circe yet. So each enemy gets their own deck. So that's the Cheetah deck, Circe deck, and there's 5 different characters you can play. Julie played Diana, which, as you know, is Wonder Woman, and each character has an ability. For instance, she can move to a region during the strategy phase. And in this scenario, one character gets the Sword of Hephaestus. And that's because in a 2-player game, Ares starts out with 15 health. And if you, where's 15?
Right there.
Yeah, 15 health. I don't know why I was having trouble reading that. Both characters can damage him, but only the person with the sword can take him from 1 to 0. And so you have to run around the board, picking up the blessings at the different temples. In the meantime, Ares is running around the island trying to take it over, and he'll oh, it's right over there, and he'll be placing servants of war, which these cubes stand for. The other enemies, they can stand for different things, but basically orange, purple, and green cubes are bad. Obstacles can come up that block you. Corrupted Amazons can come up, and what you'll have here is a card, and the card is different if you're playing with 2 or 4 players, or 3 or 5 players, different health levels, for instance. But you don't want servants of war in regions because you're going to lose defense. And if corrupted Amazons get to the palace, you lose a lot of defense. And if you have 5 or more corrupted Amazons and servants of war in a region, you can lose 3 defense. And blockades, like I say, slow you down. So what do you do on your turn as a cooperative game? Well, first you start the round, and Ares will move, so you'll draw a card for Ares, and we'll see on the bottom here where he'll go. So he would go to the square in this case. So he'd go all the way over here, and whenever he moves, he'll place 2 servants of war. Now, if there were any warriors in there, he would turn them into corrupted Amazons instead, and no servants of war would get placed. So you'll see in the playthrough that happened to us, and we almost thought we were going to lose when that happened. So he appears there, and then we draw another card, and you read the effect here, not the location. So he would deploy 1 corrupted Amazon to each leadership region, replace all warriors in those regions with corrupted Amazons. And leadership regions are right here, and you can use these regions to get more warriors, because in this game, you're going to be drawing cards. You're going to get 2 face-up cards. All players get to see what they have, but then 3 face-down cards. And then we'll discuss strategy. So after Ares draws his 2 cards, we discuss, okay, what are we going to do? Are you going to go after the corrupted Amazons? Are you going to get blessings? Are you going to get relics, for instance? So these relics can appear on the board, and they'll help you. Any character can have them. They'll help you do things. For instance, this is a really good one. You can basically move to where the enemy is. You don't have to play cards to move. You play 1 card to move, and you move there. And I looked up that with Diana's ability here, she can use her free move action to go right where the enemy is. So it's really great to team her up with that armor. We weren't too sure during the playthrough, but I called it right.
Yes, you did.
And I looked it up later and said, yeah, we played that right.
You're right.
So we look at our cards, and then we pick up all 5, and now you get to look at the 3 that the other players know about. Now you plan, and you don't tell anybody what you're doing, because for instance, you'll see during the playthrough, I didn't get any feet one time, any agility, and I couldn't move, so I had to change my strategy. So wisdom, for instance, will be used to defeat corrupted Amazons. You need 3 wisdom to do that. Agility is used to move to regions or to remove blockades, and you can combine. So for instance, even though I only have 2 agility, I can use a warrior in my region to make it 3. The warrior goes away, and then I can remove a blockade. You also have vigor, which are swords, to defeat servants of war, and leadership you can use to get more warriors. Now, how do you defeat Ares? How do you damage him? Well, it doesn't matter what emblem you use, as long as it's 4 or more, and you can combine them with warriors, you do 1 damage to him. And if you have 2 or more Amazonians in the same space, if they use the same emblems, they can team up. So let's say Julie plays a 2-star, I play a 1-star, and we have a warrior there. Well, we can damage him for 1 because 2 plus 1 plus 1 is 4. So what you're doing is you're running around on the board, trying to prevent the loss of defense. You start with 20 here, and you can go down. If you go down to 0, you lose. There's other victory conditions. For instance, with Cheetah, if she cycles through her deck 3 times, you lose. And she's trying to find artifacts. She's trying to steal them. Mm-hmm. So that's a quick how to play. In fact, I probably taught that better than I did on the, playthrough.
Because you're in such a hurry. You just did it.
But anyway, let's talk about our review here. We come up with the reasons separately, and then we use the 1 through 10 rating on BGG. Now, the interesting thing about this review, I've changed my rating now 3 times for this game.
Wow.
So you're going to find out. I'll tell the story of how that happened here in just a moment. But first, Julie will go.
Okay, so I have a lot of good positives. The miniatures are really great. It's just, they're so well made.
Yeah, here's an ink wash on them, by the way. That's a technique.
Oh, really? Is that what it is?
Yeah,
It makes them look so...
it's an extra step
that
they
cool.
did here. It makes them pop more.
Yeah,
it's really nice.
I agree. It makes them look amazing. I love that it's cooperative. You guys know that that's probably my most favorite way of playing is cooperatively, and this one is very cooperative, which I really enjoy. The art is really nice on the board, on the cards. It's very pleasant to look at. I really like it a lot. There's a good mix of enemies, good variety of enemies. So you can, if you get bored of playing the same one all the time and you still haven't beat them, just go try somebody else, see if you can beat them, and then go back to the other. And it's kind of what we did, because we couldn't beat Ares. We went beat up on Cheetah, and then when we did our playthrough, we finally beat Ares. And last but not least, it can be a little frustrating. And for me, what I mean by that is there's just kind of a lot to remember, especially if you have relics, of knowing and remembering what the relics can do along with the cards that you have been dealt, and trying to remember to do everything in order so you get to maximize those relics to the best of your ability.
Yeah,
and
so this does benefit somebody who's used to playing collectible card games like Magic.
I don't play any of that.
So for instance, Julie has to remember when she plays an experience card to double that. And there was an instance where she didn't do that. She forgot and she played it out of order.
Yeah.
She would have had another free action if she would have played her experience card first.
Right.
And then she could have used, but what happened is she played her experience card last and doubled it, but it didn't need to be doubled.
It didn't need to be doubled.
And then she forgot to use her golden armor thing. So just keep in mind that if you're playing with somebody that's not used to remembering a lot of things that stack, and this isn't a lot of things that stack. There's games that are even more stacking.
Oh, I agree.
And you've played those games. But,
I have, but
that's something that can happen.
And it just
kind of,
is a little too much. But I think the more I play this game, the less frustrating and the more I'll remember to do that. But as of right now, just for me personally, that's a negative. But I mean, I'm sure a lot of you out there, it won't be. You'll be like, what the heck was she talking about? But
well, when we first played, I had to help you more. You're getting better at remembering it. So this game does benefit from more plays throughs, and that's part of my review. And the part about frustrating, which you may not have remembered to mention, is that we did not get any obstacles. You can get a situation, we get obstacles everywhere, and it slows you down. In the game that we played, they didn't come up. So if you can get unlucky with the cards, and that can happen with any cooperative game, whether it's Pandemic or other games. So we did get unlucky with one thing, and we thought we were going to lose, but we ended up winning.
We did.
So all I'm pointing out is that sometimes, just like any cooperative game, they have to have some variability in it to challenge you.
I know, I agree, and I expect the challenge and I respect it. It's just.
Well, I agree with you. It can be frustrating.
It just can be really frustrating.
I mean, there's times when we play, it's like, I think we're going to lose. This is, and you want to give up.
And you do. You're just like, oh, to heck with this. I'm done. I don't care anymore. I just want to be done.
Yeah, but then you forge on, And so just keep
And you
that in
still
mind.
lose.
No, actually, we thought we were going to lose Cheetah, but we ended up winning.
That's true.
Right, because
That's
we're
true.
getting all those blockades or whatever.
Yeah, we did. We
But
had
something
a lot
was
of them.
happening.
It was something crazy.
What was it?
I thought it was a
Hunting
blockades.
parties. We're getting a bunch of hunting parties in that one,
Yeah.
and we thought we were going to lose.
Yeah.
So-
So there you go. That's my little review.
But that can be an issue though for people who who want a more even experience.
True.
Okay. All right. So wrong way. Okay. So for me, it's a thematic cooperative superhero game. It does well at that. You do feel like you're. I mean, I don't know much of the comics, Wonder Woman
I don't know
comics,
anything.
but you definitely feel like you're taking on a super villain, for lack of a better word, and you're using, and that based on the movie, anyways, getting the relics.
Yes.
I mean, for instance, the bracers here we got, and that help protect you on some things. I mean, you feel like you're in the movie.
Yeah.
Or
The first movie.
or a different, different version of the movie.
Right.
So I agree with you. Nice art and miniatures. So the mechanics of planning your movement or programmable movement encourages cooperation, because when we play other games like Pandemic, we pretty much kind of know what we have to do.
True.
With this, you can discuss some strategy, and it's great that it has a separate phase for that. The fact that here you strategize, and then you plan, you lay out your 3 cards, and then you play your cards. There's even strategy as to what order you go in, because even though Julie and I might have played out our first card, we can still strategize who should go first before the other.
True.
Because it could be a situation where Julie's here, and I want to get through to help her. She might want to go first, remove this barrier, then I can come in there and help her. And let's say there's a bunch of bad guys here. So the fact that they separated out a talking part, and then you don't talk when you look at all 5 of your cards,
It's pretty cool.
reduces the alpha player problem that we can have with other games.
I agree.
So this is something that the forthcoming is really important. It may be too difficult and need multiple plays to strategize. Now, especially if you don't play rules correctly. So we lost against Ares 4 times.
Yes.
One of the reasons why we beat him this time is because we know the deck better. We know how to use the warriors better with the leadership stars. And that took multiple plays to figure that out.
True.
So if somebody isn't resilient or persevere, now, for instance, we did not have a very good experience the first couple times, so I actually rated this a 4,
Wow, did you really?
and it was in our sell pile.
Oh my gosh.
And then we played it again, and then we played with Cheetah and said, okay, well, I'll raise the rating. And then I found out that a rule we were playing wrong. The rule that we were playing wrong was that when relics are drawn into if they flip up your first 2 cards, or if they're in your bottom 3 cards, you must decide if you're going to place them on the board or put it in the discard pile and get a new card. It may be a situation where you want 5 cards because you need to move or do things. But what we were doing, and this is from playing too many collectible card games, the rules are clear. It's just me messing up. You think you got to cycle through your actions to make the relic appear. So this made it harder on us. I see that now.
Yeah.
Because now when it appears, say, oh, I can go pick it up right away. We don't have to cycle through it and then plan to pick it up after we cycle through it.
Right.
So we were losing actions, making it more difficult for us. So that's regardless though. Say you play all the rules correctly. You still are going to need to learn the deck and how to communicate with each other, so that way you have an idea, you can trust each other to do the right thing depending on what cards you have. Because what can happen, as I mentioned, you could draw but not have any feet. So there was one time when I didn't have any cards with agility. That's the feet card. How come I'm drawing all feet cards now? Like,
Make up for wins you
if I
didn't
have
get.
cards like that, right? And I wanted to go. We were getting our, for lack of a better word, our butts kicked because we couldn't get to the palace that turn. And every time there's a corrupted Amazon in the palace, you lose 2 defense. So we got down pretty far on our defense here. We got down to 8, and my 2 face-up cards didn't have any agility. And so I told Julie, well, I'll go there, and you go somewhere else. Well, my other 3 cards, my other face-down cards, did not have any agility. So I was like, well, I guess I can't get rid of those. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, if this takes more perseverance than other cooperative games, I think.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it can be frustrating. We get unlucky. And what can be repetitive? If you're getting really unlucky and you keep on getting barriers, that can be really a bummer. When you get these and then you're slowed down and things start stacking up and it's
Yeah.
like, and you're like, all right, and you think you're going to lose, and sometimes that does happen. And as I've already
True.
mentioned, you got to have a lot of perseverance to overcome unluckiness. Because when you can get really unlucky and you feel like quitting
Yeah.
sometimes. And that's happened multiple times to us, but then we keep on playing.
Let's see how we rated it.
All right, so as I mentioned, I originally rated it a 4.
Very good.
Not so good, but could play again. And we did play it again.
Yep.
Then it went up to a 6. Okay, we'll play in the mood. And then when I figured out, because what I do is I reread the rules before we do a playthrough and know how to play
Which
it.
is smart.
And then I found out, oh, we weren't doing that right with the relics. And then we played it as the way it was intended to be played. And it's like, okay, this game works better. It's not
Yep.
as frustrating. We're having more fun.
Definitely.
And so now our rating is
8.
an 8. So it will stay in our collection now.
Yes.
And we would suggest it. So this will be at the top of our list now when we play cooperative games.
Definitely.
Do you have anything to add, Lenny?
No, I don't have anything more to say. I think we've said everything we need to say about the game.
Well, that's Wonder Woman. At least you know our journey now of
Yes.
it's important to read rules correctly. Sometimes the rule books are bad, as you know, that's my thing. This rule book's not bad. There's a couple.
It was just the person reading it had some issues.
Yeah. Well, again, you come in, and this is a comprehension issue. You come in with prior knowledge that can affect your comprehension. My prior knowledge was playing collectible card games where you got to draw it and cycle through it. So that's what clouded my reading. And now it would have helped to have an example in the book,
True.
because there are some things that can improve the rule book. The rule book is comprehensible, but having an example of that
Examples are always good.
would have probably avoided that what's called a miscue, an unexpected response. You know, having a PhD in language reading and culture, you use those terms. And you say miscue instead of mistake. So, I'm not criticizing the rule book. Again, there are things that can be improved, but it's pretty decent.
Yeah.
But because there's a lot of things, parts moving here, someone who's not as experienced could play it incorrectly.
Sure.
An experienced person played it incorrectly. I
Right.
could see them rating this game lower
True.
or not having a good experience. All right, well, anyway,
All right. Well, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.
take care.
Bye.